Friday lunch. Barbecue chicken leftovers, and it's sugar-free barbecue with peas. Oh, I am up to a full pill for my newest pill, and so far no real difference yet, but we will see. 4 eggs and grits. Double serving of grits. It is Saturday morning, and I need to grab my tracking book to even know what I'm doing right now. I ate terribly last night, but I'm a little short on funds and can't get to the store, and I have to work tonight, and I'm just trying to figure stuff out right now. I'm in a weird headspace. I've got so much going on, and I cannot right now. So my diet's slipping a little. I'm trying to stay on track, but I've got nothing for dinners right now. Oh. I have no clue. I'm trying to hold back on the sugar. It's freaking, my weight keeps fluctuating. And now we read our ServSafe Manager Certification Manual, because in a couple of days I have to take the stupid class. Sunday lunch, it's roughly noon. Same thing as last night. It's like a beef, cauliflower, peas gravy mix, but I threw in yum yum sauce on the top, and it tastes much better as a sweeter dish. So it may look like goop, but I promise you it's not. This morning I had a breakfast bar, Quest bar, and some coffee. And I work at 6 to close today, so that's like 1 a.m. No, wait, it's Sunday. We close at 11, so midnight-ish.
Like that seasoning.
Oh yeah, the lemon pepper.
We're talking about.
Guys, I don't know if they'll attack us, so I just called the police.
Yeah, they'll get animal control.
They're right there in that corner, that front corner.
Hi, babies.
They were fighting each other earlier.
What are you doing? You're so pretty. The other one's hiding his face. He's just like, I'm not having none of this. Poor thing. Oh. Just left the ortho, and they said that I am approved for the MRI. We're gonna hope I am, because I need to get it done. They're worried about my neck pain, mostly because my arthritis in my neck is really bad, and my lower back, obviously with the pars defect and all my other issues I've got going on down there. He said I've been doing pretty good with the weight loss, especially since I started at the beginning of March, and it's only the beginning of June. And his scale is showing that I am 11 pounds down, whereas the weight loss doctor showed I was only 8 pounds down. So it's showing that there's weight loss, and it's only been a little over 2 solid months, right? March to April, April to May, May to June, 3 months. So it's not terrible, but it's not where I want it to be. I feel like I've stalled out more times than I can count on my hands on the scale. He switched my diclofenac over to meloxicam, which, as I recall, last time I took meloxicam back in 2020, it made me nauseated. So we'll see how well that goes. And I asked him about my meds that I'm taking now. He suggested another med that I could be on, and I said, well, what they've got me on is specifically for weight loss, as well as everything else. And he goes, well, this would work well with it. It wouldn't take the place of anything, so you would still have your weight loss stuff, second job, the night job. The third job I'm picking up more hours at until I find something better. I've put in a lot of applications. I've gotten a lot of responses so far. I have 2 interviews set up and 1 potential. I actually have a leg in with a guy whose brother is a manager at one of the locations, and he was like, I'm gonna message him and let him know to look for your application. Okay. So getting the ball rolling on something better. In the meantime, I'm stressed out over bills and work hours and everything. But I had to let that second job go. It was literally driving me crazy. I mean, literally driving me crazy. And now it's caused legal issues, and I have to go to court over something that's absolutely terrifying, because they put me in a situation where I had to make a very serious decision, and I was so scatterbrained and stressed out and all by myself that I made a bad decision, and it can now affect me legally. And I don't want to get into it, but it's pretty serious. So yeah, when jobs focus on labor costs and then cut people hours and then shove a fairly new manager in the mix to handle an entire building by herself with just 1 other employee, that should be manned by at least 5 people, 6 people. And then stuff happens. Like they put me in this situation, and I don't know. I don't know what to do about it, but I will talk to a lawyer soon. I'm headed to my day job now. It's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Payday. Half of it's got to go towards rent. I've got to stick to my budget, even if my income right now is up in the air. I have no food in my house. I'm literally at rock bottom, and it doesn't seem like anybody notices or cares. So I don't know. Robert's getting no responses from any of his applications whatsoever. He had an email, or he had an interview a week ago, and they were like, yeah, we're opening other locations, you're definitely a candidate, we're going to send this, up the ladder, blah, blah, blah. I haven't heard anything yet. They said give him a week to hear back from corporate to figure out where they're going to put him. And it sounded like a half of a job offer, but I take that with a grain of salt, because he's been given a job offer before, and it went up to HR and blah, 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 and he never heard back from them again. And he called them like 3-4 times. So I don't know. These people over here are just shady as hell. Like, these businesses aren't run right. I hate living in a city. These people suck. But I work tonight too at my 3rd job, which I guess now is my 2nd job until I get a replacement. I switched over to cook position because I feel more comfortable in the kitchen than out in the front. It's just not my thing to be in the front. I like to be in the back, moving around and getting stuff done, and I like that. I don't like standing around and handing people stuff, and I don't like that. My day job almost terminated me as well. So, leaving my night job, I walk in the next day to my day job, and I got called into a meeting. I'm like, okay, what is this about? They're extending my probationary period 6 months because they feel that but like their lack of training me is being an issue. It is what it is. So salvaged my job there because they didn't seem too concerned about it, but they were just like, we're just going to extend, you know, your trial run since you're a new hire, 6 more months. I don't know, and I don't care right now. I really don't. I've had enough of everything and everyone and the whole freaking world, and I've never been this depressed. Alright, it is Friday finally. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm exhausted. Pick up the food pantry box tonight. I don't know what's going to be in it, but hopefully it's something that can tie us over, because I'm not making any money right now. Worked last night at what is now my second job, and I'm a cook, and apparently it's very hush-hush, but I think I'm the highest paid cook, because I used to work for this company a long time ago, and I did a little bit of everything for them in that business, so I have a lot of experience. And in my second day of training, so the first day I basically just kind of stood there and I was showed where everything was, which is a big thing because my memory is not the greatest, so I still had to ask on my second shift for training, you know, do I use this? Where's that at? I only made 2 mistakes really, but on my second day of training, which was last night, I literally jumped right on the grill without being asked, and I need to get glasses again because I can't find my glasses, but my nearsightedness, I kept asking, what do I need to drop? Or I'd be leaning over kind of in the way trying to read the screen, so definitely need to get glasses. And I worked almost 8 hours. I'm exhausted. But I am on the grill side of the kitchen, which means I do steaks, burgers, chicken, fish, pretty much anything on a grill. And maybe 1 or 2 of my steaks went out a little too high in mid-temps, but overall I think I got everything pretty accurate. I use a temp gauge, but you know, 1 or 2 will get away from you when you've got a dozen things on the grill. It happens, but I did my best, and apparently it was noticed because the new GM, they just got a new GM. She said to the other manager, like, where has she been all my life? No, I just like being busy in the kitchen. I don't think I'm the greatest at it, but, you know, I get it done. Now, plating, on the other hand, that's where I'm going to have to learn a lot. Like, what goes on what plate and what plate to use. There's like a dozen plates. It'll take time. But the fact that I jumped right on the grill my second day without even being asked, like literally she turned around and I had already dropped something that she needed. She was like, okay, go ahead. Let me know if you need anything. Yeah, somebody to read. So that compensation is gonna be equivalent to what I was making at the job that I had to give up as a supervisor. So that's saying a lot right there. equivalent. So I'm not going down in pay anywhere, which I was really worried about, that I would have a pay cut while trying to pick up hours and trying to find something better. Do I want to work in a kitchen long term? Probably not, because of my back. I just can't. There's no way. 8 hours was a lot on me yesterday. Like, a lot. But I learned a lot, too, so. I just don't have it in me anymore. You know, it's not like I'm in my 20s. My day job. That's what I'm putting in applications for. On my day job, I make really good money. Really good money. You don't find this kind of pay at 99% of these jobs posted online. I have, however, applied for multiple supervisory type positions that I know I can be fully qualified for. Something as simple as, I have an interview on Tuesday at a fast food restaurant for a supervisory position. That is probably not the greatest pay, because they really don't pay that much, but I also applied to Sheets for 2 different supervisory positions for 2 different locations, and one of them says multi-location on it. I also have a leg in with my day job. Somebody's brother works as a manager for one of the Sheets around here, and he's already messaged him and was like, hey, is it yours, which is one of these 2 that she's applied to. He's like, no, but I know who's at those stores and kind of thing, so maybe I can get kind of a leg in, so to speak, if that makes sense. Like, you know somebody to know somebody to get anything. Maybe I can get lucky there, because Sheets is a really good job opportunity, and there's a lot of room for growth in there, because you can go from working in the stores to multiple stores to corporate. I've seen people move up all the time in Sheets. If you don't want to just be stuck as a cashier for a couple of bucks a week, and you really want career goals, it's a good place to have a career. I had interviewed with them before, back in January, and I withdrew my application, even though the HR lady said that I was a perfect candidate. She was getting a hold of her, uppers, the director or something like that, and they were going to schedule a second interview. She was really excited about it, and I messaged her and I said I wasn't ready. I was honest. The location they wanted to put me at, I wasn't ready for. That one's a very busy, very difficult location, based on where it is. And that store needs a lot of work, and I didn't know if I was experienced enough and prepared enough at that time to handle that store. And now it's been a couple of months, and I've had a lot more experience as a supervisor. I still may or may not be ready, but I'm willing to take on the challenge now. So hopefully they give me a second chance, because I reapplied to that location. We shall see, because they might see my thing, and it clearly says it on it, because you can see your old applications, and it clearly says withdrawn in January. So maybe they'll see it and maybe have a question or 2, and I can easily explain that. I just wasn't ready. But other than all of that, there's not a whole lot going on. I'm just waiting for things to pan out. As always, I'm gonna struggle the next to work. There's a bit of fog out today. It's sitting a little higher than normal, so visibility's not too terrible.